Thank you, Mr. Lam. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next guest, Mr. Yong. He's the Chief Executive of Bureau Veritas Marine and Offshore Singapore and a member of SIT&U Marine Program's Industry Advisory Committee. Mr. Koh is also an alumni of Newcastle University. Mr. Koh, please.
Hi, good morning, parents and students. I hope everybody is keeping safe and healthy during this pandemic and also the circuit breaker. My name is Koh Yong Peng. As City has introduced, I'm the Chief Executive for Bureau Veritas Singapore office. So it seems not too long ago, I was like one of the students thinking about which course to take, whether I'm making the right choices in selecting the university. Okay, it's actually quite a while ago, but of course back then the internet wasn't so advanced, information wasn't so readily available. So now, so when Prof Kenneth asked me, can I take part in a tea session, to share with prospective students? I was thinking, during this circuit breaker, So I say, okay, why not, Then I realized it's a virtual session, and since I've accepted, no choice, So here I am. Right, okay, so I will share with you my brief history, my journey, and then maybe attempt to answer some of the questions that you may have, right? So unlike most of you, I'm an A-level student. So after graduating with my A-level degree, so wait, let me see. Okay, so after graduating with A-level, so I wanted to pursue my degree, likely my interest in engineering. Yep. So I applied for a few scholarships. So I was given a scholarship by the PSC to study economics. I was accepted into chemical engineering, and also a degree to study marine or naval architecture overseas. Okay, Newcastle was one of the university that was on offer. So then I was thinking, which one should I take? So finally I accepted after talking to seniors. The university alumni was quite kind. Technology wasn't so advanced then, so they arranged meetup sessions with the senior to share, very much like this, but face-to-face, more cozy environment. So I decided to take up the scholarship offered by the Defense Ministry. So I spent 9 years, the bond was 8 years. So I spent 9 years in the Defense Ministry serving in the Navy, because finally I've taken up marine engineering instead of naval architecture. And the 9 years in Navy was very fulfilling. I was involved in day-to-day engineering issues. I took part in projects with upgradings. I was involved in the submarines, the new landing ships, new then, as well as our frigate programs built in France, the submarines in Sweden, So, and after 9 years, I left the Navy and joined my current company, my second employer in the course of my career, So Bureau Veritas is one of the 11 classification society in the world. It's a French headquarter company. So we do inspections on behalf of the flag administration, on behalf of the government, to make sure that the vessels are seaworthy. We are independent third party where we will also conduct inspections on behalf of the underwriters, on behalf of the financial institution. The questions I think most of the students out there will be thinking is, should I be taking this course? Am I making the right choice? Is SIT the institution for me? And for most of the parents who are listening in, like any other parents, they will be concerned is, would it be easy to find a job? And would there be lifelong continuous or continual employment, especially given the markets up and down? A lot of news are on the oil prices and the challenging situation, especially during this pandemic situation, right? So I will try to I can't give you a straight answer, yes or no answer, but let me try to frame your questions in the current, in the context of the maritime oil and gas industry. So if we look at it, 90% of the world's trade are carried out through ships. So whether it will be the iPhones, the Android phones that we are using, the components used in our manufacturing, the toilet paper, the instant noodles that some of us were hoarding before on news of the potential, there's a DOSCON upgrade to rate, or the ingredients we use for our cooking. Shipping is the most cost-effective and efficient way of moving large volume of items around the world, from the finished products to the ingredients, as I had said. Now, if you look at the current situation, when the economy was in shock, where airlines cut back on the number of flights, the airport reduced shut down some of the terminals, reduced because of the air traffic, but shipping did not come to a halt. In fact, shipping was even more important because it is important. Why is it important? Because it is crucial to keep the movement of goods around, large volumes of goods around. In the local context, during the circuit breaker, Bureau Veritas, like some of the maritime industry, we will deem essential services. Even with the enhanced list, where some of the confectionery bakeries, your favorite bubble tea shops are shut down, Bureau Veritas, as a classification society, we are still expected to deliver our services to keep the ports in operation. Every day, about 1,000 vessels call in Singapore port every day. And every 2 to 3 minutes, a vessel come, enter or leave the Singapore port. So you may be familiar that we are the top 2 container vessels, and we are also the top 2 bunkering ports in the world. So if you look at the type of business that are passing through Singapore, it will give you an idea on the long-term viability of choosing a degree in marine-related studies as a choice. Then the question is, what if I don't want to work as an engineer for the rest of my working career? It's logical, you know. I didn't work as an engineer after I left Navy. I moved on to commercial. So if you look at Singapore, we have a full ecosystem. The local government is very proactive, together with the Maritime Port Authorities, the Singapore Maritime Foundation, the Singapore Shipping Association, the various industry bodies. They have a complete ecosystem where we have from shipyards, like the big yards, Sembawang, Keppel, the Singapore Technology, and the smaller specialized yards. These are the builders, to the financial institutions that provide maritime loan, green loans, to design house, to companies that does sales and purchase of vessels, and law firms that carry out arbitrations and so on. So there are many industries there are many companies within the maritime industry where you can move laterally or upwards with your experts, with your knowledge and experience from your engineering degree. Yeah, so myself is a case in point. I started as a marine engineer, practiced 9 years in the Navy. I moved on to the commercial world. I wasn't a surveyor, but I moved on to take on a management role, spending more time on commercial activities. So don't be afraid that if you think you're studying an engineering degree because it seems to be so specialized, whether it's a naval architect, offshore, or marine engineering, you are destined to work in hardcore engineering, right? So contrary to this thinking, you know, because there are sufficient stakeholders and a diversity of stakeholders within the industry for you to move around. So I hope that has partially answered the questions of the parents and the students on this aspect, right? So then the other question is, if I'm given a choice, would I choose to take this degree again? You know, so of course hindsight is has is very easy to comment. You know, the current situation does provide a lot of challenges. As we know, this is a double black swan event. That does it mean that we are immune to the challenges in the economy? We're not immune. Okay. But if you compare to the other industries, whether it's the aviation, the hospitality, the constructions, the F&B, the maritime industry is relatively less affected. Okay. But we are still affected. The shipyards are slowing down. The projects are more difficult to come online. Um, so, but there are sufficient opportunities. Okay, we just have to be patient, and at some point of time, activities will pick up. And again, we will have to manage our expectations for the next 12, 15 months. And when the market picks up, we will have enough opportunities and employment for everybody. So if you ask me, yes, I will still take on this degree, but I will choose to take on more specialization which caters to future-proof the degree, which I will say SIT is injecting into your curriculum. And when you choose the university, as most of you have both, other than to prepare you with the academic knowledge, I think it's also important for the connection with the industry. I think this is where SIT has the advantage. Okay, I need to qualify. I don't work for SIT, but we need young talents, new energy, fresh breath from candidates like yourself to create vibrancy to ensure we continue to make Singapore proud as a maritime nation. Okay, so SIT has very strong connections with the industry. As Prof said, you know, through the IAC, they pull in the wisdom, the experience, and the knowledge of the various industry leaders to shape their curriculum and also to arrange IWSP for the students to better prepare themselves. So when they graduate, they are able to know or closer to the actual working environment, which is very important, you know. So when I was a student, I didn't have this opportunity. Of course, the Singapore Navy did arrange for me to come back, but working out in the Navy, of course, is a very different experience as working in the commercial world. So again, I feel that the fact that you are spending a Saturday morning here, you have already been, I was told that you have been offered the options in this university. I think it is a positive sign. So again, I'm here to share together with the other people in the room. With this, I conclude my short sharing session. If you have questions, please type into the conversation box or you can unmute and share. Again, I wish everybody good health and stay safe and keep sane during the next 2 weeks of circuit breaker. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Koh.